Well, okay, I guess we'll go ahead and get started. So we got a lot to cover today. I'd like to welcome you all to today's webinar, which is Engaging with Penn State's Medical Innovation Ecosystem. My name is Krista Schneider, and I will be your host today. During this webinar, we are going to have presentations from two Penn State research centers, Center for Medical Innovation and the Center for Biodevices. And we're also going to hear from the PA Innovation Partnership. So today's webinar, I wanted to mention, is sponsored by the United States Economic Development Administration. And I want to thank you all for taking time out of your busy schedules to join us. Let's see here. Try to advance the slide. Cannot advance the slide. Kelly, if you have control, maybe you need to. There you go. Okay. So just a few housekeeping items. Everybody here is muted and their cameras are off. If you have any technical difficulties at all, please use the chat pad and we'll try to correct them. Today's presentation will last about 50 minutes. And if you have any questions, please ask them using the Q&A button. We'll wait to answer any questions really until the end, just so we could get through the material efficiently. And if you have any questions after the webinar is over and you don't get them answered, please send them to me. You could either send them to me directly or to pentap@psu.edu. The webinar is also being recorded and it'll be loaded on our website, and you'll receive a follow-up email notifying you when it's available with a copy of today's presentation. So next slide, yeah. So today's agenda, I'm going to just very briefly go over our mission, PennTap mission, introduce who we are, and then I'll turn it over to our guest speakers, and I'll introduce each before they begin their presentations. And then at the end, I'll wrap things up as well with a Q and have the Q&A session. So next slide, let's see here. Okay, so our mission, the Pennsylvania Technical Assistance Program, also known as PennTap. Just a few words about us. We are a grant-funded organization at Penn State. We're part of the Office of Entrepreneurship and Commercialization, and I'm happy to say that this year, 2025, marks our 60th anniversary. Our mission is, as you can see there, to provide Pennsylvania companies with technical assistance and access to Penn State's resources, and faculty and students in order to solve business challenges. Simultaneously, we also provide Penn State faculty and students with opportunities to broaden their impact through engagements with industry. We are also proudly the designated Economic Development Administration's University Center for Pennsylvania. This program leverages the resources of higher education to support regional economic development throughout the U.S. So our services, we offer those statewide, and they fall within two categories, either innovation or energy and environment. And through our innovation services, which we're highlighting today, we engage with businesses to improve their operations and to drive innovation. And we accomplish this by basically assessing business needs and then identifying, what resources at Penn State they could, or through our partners, that they need and will benefit from. And then through our energy and environment services, we complete on-site assessments. We assist manufacturers in identifying opportunities to reduce energy and pollution. And we also assist our clients in procuring grant funding to offset the cost of their projects. So how do we accomplish this? We provide assistance through our regional network of Penn State advisors. As you can see from the map shown here, we're embedded within the communities we serve. I actually am based out of Penn State Hazleton in my region. There you could see in the dark blue, number 3, Northeast PA. We have a combined 200 years of experience, and we're comprised of a lot of different technical expertise. We have chemical engineers, electrical engineers, environmental scientists. We have certified energy managers, professional engineer. We also have 6 certified Six Sigma green belts. certified water efficiency professional, and a LEED Green associate. And I'm proud to say that last year, our team helped Pennsylvania small businesses achieve $14.3 million in economic benefit across 34 counties. And we educated over 1,200 individuals and saved or created 80 jobs. So I am now happy to turn the webinar over to our presenters. We're going to start with Erica Swift. Erica serves as the Executive Director of the Center for Medical Innovation at Penn State. She's a business executive with over 25 years of experience in technology commercialization and new business development. She has held diverse roles throughout her career, leadership roles, and she's successfully commercialized, launched, and managed numerous innovative technologies licensed from both individual inventors and academic institutions. So Erica, if you have control, you can take control right now, or if you want me to advance to the next slide, just let me know. But I think you are still on mute.
Great, thank you, Krista. And it seems like I do not have control.
Okay, I will advance for you then. Just let me know.
Okay, thank you. So good morning, everybody. And Krista, thank you for that lovely introduction. So yes, the majority of my career has been spent in industry, advancing technologies to the marketplace. But about 10 years ago, I did join Penn State to actually come to the other side of the table and work with our physician scientists and our faculty to take these early stage discoveries and help move them to a licensable state. So next slide. So when I arrived, we were at the College of Medicine, we were doing a lot of things really well within the Office of Technology Development, but there was opportunity for us to better partner with industry and better support the faculty and students and staff that we have here that had really great discoveries that could lead to innovative solutions for our patients. So about a year after I arrived, we actually stood up the Center for Medical Innovation. And our focus here is to really take all of the great researchers and clinicians and postdocs and students that are at the bench having these early stage discoveries and help them and give them the access to resources and capital, and also engage with collaborators and external partners, especially in industry and our economic development community, to be able to take those great early stage ideas and transform those into innovations that can really help our patients at the bedside. Next slide, please. And we do this in a variety of ways. I mean, this really is a journey. So we start before innovations are even formed, and by supporting our faculty here at the College of Medicine. But along that journey, you do get to the point where you have invention disclosures, you have patentable technology. And that's where we really start to form a partnership with our teams. Right now, we currently have 32 different technologies that we're in active partnership. We have almost 100 faculty, which we are engaging on a regular basis. And I'm going to go through some of the programs that we have in place to really come alongside and support our faculty as they're advancing these early stage technologies. But then I'm also going to share with you too how important our ecosystem is around us, whether it is part of our economic development organizations, our early stage funders, or even more importantly, our industry partners. So next slide, please. But before I go into our programs, I actually want to share a story with you so you can get a sense of the type of innovation that is spinning out of the College of Medicine. So this particular technology was called the Advantage Rib. It is now called the RibFix Advantage. And this started with our Department of Surgery, Dr. Peter Dillon, leaving a surgery after a trauma patient presented with several broken ribs. And the current standard of care was providing, plates and screws to fixate these ribs, but it was a very invasive procedure. And if anybody has ever fractured ribs, you know how painful it can be. But because the standard of care was such an invasive procedure, often when a person presents with fractured ribs, they're simply wrapped, sent home with pain meds, and told to take it easy. And this is especially problematic for patients that are older, where a simple slip and fall, that can leave them with that fractured rib. Now they're going home in pain, they can't breathe, they can't move. And often we see these patients representing with pneumonia or other, comorbidities that cause them to sometimes even go into ICU and sometimes even succumb to those follow-on challenges just from that fractured rib. So Dr. Dillon, along with Dr. Mackay and minimally invasive surgeon Dr. Randy Halleck and a biomedical engineer Barry Fell, was like, okay, this is a problem we need to solve. And they did it. They came up with a minimally invasive way to fixate fractured ribs using 3 small incisions. And you can see that device that they created here just at the bottom. So they figured out a way, not only the device itself, but the surgical procedure and the tools that they needed to now take this very invasive procedure of fixating broken ribs to make it minimally invasive, leading to faster recovery, and also giving the patient population of the older individuals that didn't really have a solution, they now had a solution. This technology spun out into a startup company called Sig Medical, and then was shortly acquired by Zimmer Biomet after they proved their first in human that this was a successful device. Next slide, please. But I really want to just give you a better visual of what we're talking about here. So this is actually real life images of Nancy. So Nancy reached out to us earlier this year. She's a multiple Ironman finisher, and during one of her training rides, she was hit by an SUV. She had 9 broken ribs, 7 of which were fractured in several places. When she spoke with us, she actually shared that she had over 20 fractures from this accident. You can just see the devastation to her rib cage. This is a woman who was incredibly active and was very athletic. And when she presented to her hospital in Texas, her surgeon said there's a new technology on the market, which I really believe is going to give you your best chance of getting quality of life and even maybe some of your athletic career back. Next slide, please. And that device was the device that was started here, the RibFix Advantage. And as you can see, here is that device implanted in her that has now stabilized all of her ribs. And during her recovery, she repeatedly had follow-on physical therapists and clinicians say they cannot believe the pace of her recovery and how well she was doing. And so during that process, she started looking into this device and what was ahead of her. And she found out that the device was created here at Penn State College of Medicine. So she reached out to Dr. Halleck just to say thank you and, share her experience with us. And it was just such an inspiring story. That here, this woman who was very active, it was able to maintain her active lifestyle. In fact, she just shared with us that she was able to qualify for a race in Spain and race alongside her husband and 1 daughter, which, was just a dream come true. Because under the old method of care, the old standard of care, this just would not have been a possibility for her to continue on with what matters so most to her and being able to race with her family. Right, so next slide, please. So we're going to share some of the programs that we have here at our center that really helps advance these technologies like the ones that you just got to see. So next slide, please. So first, we're going to start with education. We really do view a role of our Center for Medical Innovation is fostering and nurturing the next generation of innovators. We know that about 25% of our PhD students do not stay in academia, but do leave to go into industry. And also we know that we need to have innovative scientists at our bench inside of academia to really be able to translate these early stage discoveries into innovative solutions. So one thing that we do within our center is we provide a 12-month program for trainees such as postdocs and medical students and graduate students to really learn all the key aspects of what it takes to take an early stage discovery at a lab bench and transform it into an innovation that could be launched into the marketplace. So you can see some of the key programs that we go over here, but really the biggest benefit that we see from this is we require our students and our trainees to engage with industry. They need to understand where their early stage discovery fits in the world and what problem needs solved and understand that problem as well as they understand the technology that they're developing. So there's a number of ways to interact with our students. We always are looking for industry members that, our students can just talk to and interview. We're also always looking for mentors that want to come alongside any of our innovation fellows. And then two, we also, are developing these folks over the course of the year. So if anybody in the audience is looking to hire some innovative scientists, we know a couple of them. So we always are looking to have that type of engagement to share that with you as well. If you go to the next slide, please. And you can see some of the smiling faces from our last cohort. And I'm not going to go through this entire slide, but just I do like the part, the quote that Sean Thomas provided, and this is in the brighter blue box on the right-hand side, where he says, "The Innovation Fellowship Program was genuinely an enriching experience for me. It helped place my research into a clear, practical context, making it more impactful and meaningful. Engaging directly with the people who would be affected by my work was not only deeply motivating, but was also instrumental in shaping and improving my research direction." And that's really what we want to see from this type of program, where our trainees, our postdocs, our students are able to see how their research can be transformed into innovations that really impact patient care. But we're only going to be able to do this with industry engagement. Right. Next slide, please. Another program that we have is really looking at technology and business development, and that is our CMI Pathways program. This is an innovation accelerator that takes a shared responsibility approach. So as we have, right now we have 32 projects that we're actively supporting, several of them with funding. And when we do that, we actually have members of our team that come alongside the research team to help advance towards commercialization. Because our researchers are excellent at knowing their space, knowing how to write grant proposals, and having very successful publications. But doing work that leads a project towards commercialization is very different than a research project. And that's really what this CMI Pathways program does. It helps come alongside those researchers and understand the necessary work that is going to entail to get that early stage discovery to an innovative solution that could enter into the marketplace. In doing this, we're often looking for expertise to help guide these projects along the way, whether it's regulatory consultants, manufacturability consultants, looking in the reimbursement space, understanding the marketplace. And two, we're always looking for entrepreneurs looking for their next opportunity to come alongside a technology to help take it out into a fundable startup. And sometimes it is just having an advisory team around the technology to help advance it. So if you are if you are an entrepreneur or know an entrepreneur and you are looking for the next opportunities, we do have several in our pipeline, and I'm going to share two of them with you today, but know that we have many more. All right, so the next slide, please. So one of them right now a team that we've been working with and is with one of our ophthalmologists, Dr. Seth Pantinelli, and a biomedical engineer, Dr. Sue Yan. And the two of them together are really looking to address the problem of surgical care, especially in the cataract space. So, Dr. Pantinelli, similar to Dr. Dillon, he's doing cataract surgeries every single day, and he's working with a patient population and sees them struggle from the standpoint of about 95% of patients experience inflammation after cataract surgery. And right now the standard of care is providing eye drops. But if you can imagine this older patient that, may have other comorbidities such as Parkinson's or some other disease that's causing tremors, or maybe they have early on, dementia, that they forget to take their eye drops. This really causes some complications. So patients often have patients are also often non-compliant about 50% of the time because they just forget to take them, or they don't like to take them. Or there's a misapplication at 93%. A lot of times the patient puts the drop in the wrong eye. And this is really a challenge as they're having to apply these drops multiple times a day for 4 weeks. And an additional care provider is not always there to help them with that. So what Dr. Pantinelli wants, he would love to see dropless post-surgical care. And that is what he's working on with Dr. Sue Yan, where they have now developed a biodegradable drug delivering device that slips right into the tear duct. It's painless, you can't feel it, and it slowly delivers the post-operative care drug over the course of 30 days post-surgery and just dissolves right into the body. So this is just an example of one of the technologies that are being developed here. It's actively in animal studies, and they're looking to form a startup here shortly with an entrepreneurial lead to take this in human studies. Next slide, please. And a slightly different one, again, you see a mix of our clinicians and orthopedics along with our biomedical engineers, where they're also looking to try to solve a problem. And that is the fact that 15% of people that break long bones result in non-union. This is incredibly painful. This is a long recovery, often results in very expensive resurgeries. And what this team is looking to do is to utilize micromotion that helps prevent the non-union and enhance healing. So again, this team has prototypes. They're taking this towards a large animal study, and they're actively looking to take this out into a startup company. Next slide, please. So moving away from some of the projects, there's other ways that we look to engage industry. And one of those is the capstone program. We actually partner with Penn State Harrisburg. They're only 15 minutes from our College of Medicine campus, and we have funded over 40 projects since 2018. This is a fantastic program for us, us here at the College of Medicine, along with an industry partner, to partner with Penn State Harrisburg and engage their students to really get some proof of principle. And since this is a year-long study, it often enables the students time to really dive into the problem that's being solved and being able to thoughtfully come up with a solution to address that problem. And these capstone programs often are what kickstarts a bigger project later on that can go in through various funding mechanisms, which I'll talk about in a couple of slides. Next slide, please. Another collaboration that I want to share with you that's between the College of Medicine and Penn State Harrisburg is the Smart Medical Technology Hub. So this is an initiative that's underway. So right now we are in the renovation process in the Science and Technology building, but our goal is to build a smart medical technology hub that can really accelerate and advance medical devices and digital health technologies that are being built at Penn State. But we also know we need industry engagement. We need that additional expertise around us for this to work really well and to be a focal point of our community. So with a KISS designation, we are opening up the Smart Medical Technology Hub once it's launched to not only the startup companies that are spinning out of Penn State, but also welcoming in startup companies that are in our region right now that want to be co-located to expertise of our faculty and the resources that we have at both Penn State Harrisburg and the College of Medicine. Next slide, please. Another project that we're working on with Penn State Harrisburg is launching a new graduate certificate for healthcare innovation and entrepreneurship. So we're really excited about this graduate certificate because we're taking a bit of a different course than a lot of times with a graduate certificate. And I will note this is open for both existing students and returning professionals. So with this particular certificate, we really wanted it to tailor to meet individuals from where they are. So we only require 2 courses, which is in health economics and health services organization and development. So you really understand the landscape of bringing a medical device into a health system. But then we allow the other 2 courses to be electives, and they can actually be chosen from 5 different tracks of various subspecialties. So if you are, an engineer and you want to come back to learn healthcare innovation and entrepreneurship, you have your 2 required courses, and then you can select 2 electives from an engineering track. Same way with business or health administration, biomedical engineering, and public health. So this really enables you to tailor this graduate certificate to where you see your career going. Next slide, please. Right. So lastly, when it comes to ways for industry partnership, I do want to also talk about we're seeing a changing landscape in the federal funding market. There's been a lot in the news lately about this, but there has been some of the changes have been very interesting. And I want to point a couple of them out to you. So one being DARPA. DARPA has always been known to be translational, and they are continuing to be so. So recently we submitted a DARPA submission that was to advance a Penn State technology. But this particular opportunity, they didn't want us to see just to prove out that yes, the technology works. This particular submission, DARPA was requiring that we had to actually take the technology through FDA clearance and make it all the way to small scale manufacturing. Now, we do a lot of things really well at Penn State, but when it comes to small scale manufacturing and, working through all of those in the back half of regulatory, that is where we definitely need some other expertise. So these DARPA type awards are fantastic for combining academic expertise along with industry and service providers to really have this multi-million dollar non-dilutive way to advance technologies. And we see the same with ARPA-H, which was really modeled after DARPA, and those programs are running again. But you're seeing that they're focused on health, and again, how can academia, along with industry, along with foundations and health system, really advance and accelerate early stage discoveries, getting them to the clinic. The goal is within 5 years, so it is a big opportunity. But these are the type of funding opportunities that we cannot do alone as Penn State. We have to bring in industry partners and expertise. And I'll just speak to one more that is a new program that just stood up, and that's the NSF Translation to Practice. So they just launched this $30 million program that is looking to advance early stage discoveries all the way to the marketplace with an entrepreneurial training aspect of it as well. But the whole goal is how to partner academia with industry to really advance these early stage NSF projects quickly to the marketplace. Right, next slide, please. So with that, I want to just share with you our dedicated and nimble team that we have here at the Center for Medical Innovation. We do have some diverse experience between medical devices to digital to pharma to education. We view ourselves as an open door, and if you would want to engage with us in any way or have an idea or looking for a faculty member, please come to us. We would love to have that conversation and see how we can partner to help accelerate these early stage discoveries to the marketplace to impact human health. All right, thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Erica. That was a really fantastic presentation. I think that was very informative. I just appreciate hearing, especially that rib story. That was a really awesome case study. So just moving quickly, I want to keep things going. We want to now hear from Dr. Greg Lewis, and it's my pleasure to introduce him. He is an associate professor of orthopedics at Penn State's University College of Medicine, and he's also the associate director of Penn State Center for Biodevices. His own research interests include computational modeling of mechanics that are related to fixing fractures and also joint replacement surgeries. And his lab conducts industry-supported experiments for evaluating new implants and biomedical devices, and you saw just an example of that in Erica's presentation. He also leads an NIH training program, supported training program for biomedical engineering undergraduate students. So he's very busy, and we really appreciate his time taking us through his presentation. So I will let him begin.
Okay, thank you, Krista. Hi, everybody. So I'm going to introduce Penn State Center for Biodevices. Okay. So the center was established about 5 years ago. It's a virtual center. We don't have one building, but it's a collection of Penn State faculty across different campuses. So biomedical device research is very interdisciplinary, often requires this sort of cross-campus collaboration between science and engineering, which is usually based at main campus, although we do have science and engineering faculty here at the College of Medicine. And then also clinical expertise at Hershey College of Medicine. So the center is fairly broad in scope. We have 4 research thrusts, including sensing and diagnostic devices, implantable devices, wearables, and surgical devices. And each of these areas is led by the Penn State faculty shown here, representing both the College of Medicine and College of Engineering. We have well over 100 faculty and students interested in biomedical devices, including from many strong departments at Penn State. I'm showing some really strong engineering departments here, but across the university. These are the colleges and institutes which have been supporting the center, including engineering and medicine, but also the Materials Research Institute and Huck Institutes. So there are some challenges to collaboration for R&D and biomedical devices at Penn State, especially when clinicians are involved, which is often critical to the project. So there are, differences in educational backgrounds, of course, between engineers, scientists, and clinicians, the research experience, the location, job responsibilities and promotion criteria between, these different faculty, certainly time constraints and even vocabulary. Um, so on the right is a white paper that we wrote on creating successful multidisciplinary collaborations across campuses at Penn State. And a core purpose of the center is really trying to break down these barriers and initiate new collaborations that result in successful innovation, invention disclosures, research funding, and device development. And often this can really benefit from industry collaboration. So one of the center's major activities is holding networking events twice a year. The event in the spring is called Faculty Exchange, and each of these events features a keynote address, usually from an industry leader. We've brought in some great speakers over the years, including on innovation, entrepreneurship, use of AI recently in research, also patient care. And the events include talks by Penn State faculty. Often we have a student poster session with student talks. We have roundtable discussions, different networking opportunities, and we've had several panel discussions with industry. And these are held both at University Park and the Hershey campuses, and have often led to new collaborations. The ideal model is we have a collaboration that forms at one of these meetings, and then it goes on to maybe get some seed grant funding from the center, and then on to larger external support. Last fall, our event focused on industry and student networking, and we were able to bring in 6 industry sponsors who were also really active participants in the event, including short presentations by an industry panel and so forth. We have an established industry advisory board, which we meet with twice a year. We have large companies involved with that and also small companies across the different research areas that I mentioned. Another activity that we run is a virtual seminar series. Here are some of our most recent speakers, including scientists from FDA speaking on cardiovascular device research, an engineer from an orthopedic company talking about joint replacement, an engineer from Siemens who spoke about manufacturing of imaging devices, and faculty from Brown University speaking on the use of AI in materials and sensors. And by the way, I'll have my email at the end if you want to be added to our email list to be notified of these events and these webinars. So Dan Hayes and I run an NIH-funded R25 program that Krista actually mentioned, which is for biomedical engineering students at Penn State. It involves an 8-week clinical immersion in Hershey, in which these undergrad seniors participate. And we arrange a bunch of shadowing opportunities for the students in the ORs and clinics, as well as sit-down meetings with different departments, clinical departments. Students also sometimes have opportunity to participate in workshops taking place for surgical residents or medical students. And we encourage the students to identify clinical needs through these different activities and identify a device design project. And then they start to work on this project and continue it in the capstone design course in their senior year. They also get training in regulatory affairs and commercialization. So these are really, really great students. And here's some of the clinical specialties that have been involved, really kind of across most of the areas in medicine that use biomedical devices. And many of these projects have gone on to win awards at the Capstone Design Conference. So I've listed some of those below. So there is opportunity there for industry to, get involved with those projects when interested. Another major activity of the center is running our annual Sea Grant programs. This is done in conjunction with Erica's office and research development at Hershey. And these are fairly sizable awards. You can see some of the examples here. The money goes to support R&D activities within Penn State, usually with multi-PI teams. But industry collaboration or some level of involvement and support is also highly encouraged. So for companies who may be interested in collaboration with Penn State, there are various mechanisms to do that, including traditional sponsored research, potential collaboration on grant applications, using Penn State core facilities, sponsoring these capstone student projects. And there are, I think, others which I'm not thinking of right now. But for discussions on new potential collaborations, our center has developed a structured workshop format that involves presentations led by the company and then Penn State faculty on, capabilities at Penn State. So this is another, potential mechanism to facilitate collaboration. So just wrapping up here, if you have a need or idea related to biomedical devices, if you're interested in collaborating with Penn State, feel free to contact us and consider attending our next event. We're actually having a kind of a leadership change right now that is developing. So we don't have our next event date yet, but our website is listed below, which will include that information when it comes out. And again, also feel free to email me with any questions or if you'd like to be added to our list. And also the website includes, a bunch of examples of projects that have been supported by the center and the faculty involved in the center. And I'll stop there. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Greg. That was a wonderful presentation. So many nice examples, so many opportunities for engagement. So I think now I will quickly turn it over to Kelly Wylam, and it's my pleasure to introduce her. She's the last presenter here of our webinar. Kelly is the executive director of Penn. Kelly, are you able? There we go. Here, let me get your picture up. Kelly serves as the executive director of Pennsylvania's Innovation Partnership Program, which is also known as IPART. And she has over 25 years of experience supporting technology-based businesses and economic development initiatives really throughout Pennsylvania. She provides strategic guidance in grant proposal development. She's wonderful with that. She does business counseling and she helps with funding acquisition. She was part of the founding team that launched IPART in 2002. So she's very directly, very historically situated there. And she now leads a statewide coalition of more than 18 organizations and institutions. So Kelly, I will turn it over to you.
Thanks, Krista. Good to be here. Erica, I just wanted to compliment you on those fabulous case studies that you presented because they were just amazing. I'm going to give a very quick overview here, a very high level overview of SBIRS TTR, and let you know what the Innovation Partnership does and how we can be of assistance. So SBIR, Small Business Innovation Research, Small Business Technology Transfer. These are federal funding programs that provide grant funds to stimulate technology innovation in the private sector, strengthen the roles of small businesses, and meet federal R&D needs, increase commercialization from research results, and encourage participation of socially economic and underserved communities. This is not an alternative means of funding for basic research. So for some reason, you are a researcher and your research topic area funding runs out or it's no longer being funded, which is happening all over the place at the moment with the federal funding, especially at agencies like NIH. Really, this is meant for, and the applicant must be a small business concern, a codified small business. So if you are a researcher at Penn State or another research institution within the Commonwealth, the research institution is never going to be the applicant for these funds. The Small Business Technology Transfer Program is really designed to transfer technologies from the benchtop and academic research institutions out to the marketplace. Okay, so let me go back there, sorry. Why consider this? There are a lot of funds available, over $4.6 billion available through these programs. They are all grant funds, so there's no repayment unless you do something that you're not supposed to do. And then there are penalties and repayment. It provides recognition, verification, and visibility, and it also is an enhancing component if you're looking for other investment funds from angels, Ben Franklin, Life Sciences Greenhouse, or National Private Equity, or those types of VC and other investments. So there are 11 different agencies that offer SBIR and STTR grant funding. The reality is we talk about SBIR and STTR as if it's one global umbrella program, and that's not the case. Each agency runs their SBIR and STTR programs differently. They're very nuanced. There are words and phrases in the language that each agency speaks. So this is one of the reasons Innovation Partnership was created, to help demystify the approach to the different agencies that you're interested in submitting a proposal to. Okay, so STTR is 10% of the size of the SBIR program. And what I can say about this is that there are 6 different agencies that offer both SBIR and STTR funding opportunities for folks to apply to. But even though the STTR program is 10% of the size of the program, folks think it's more competitive and tend to shy away from it. And that is not necessarily the case. They are both equally competitive. What we tend to find is that the structure of the planned project usually dictates the involvement of the research institution or researchers that are at a research institution. So it usually fits itself In other words, so it's usually not a question, should I pursue SBI or STTR? It usually just makes sense depending upon the project. So the boxes here in green offer both SBIR and STTR, and the boxes in blue, those agencies only offer SBIR. A little bit about statistics, and the previous green and blue box screen will make a little more sense because you'll be able to see here on the left-hand side of the screen, those are the agencies with both SBIR and STTR, and the ones on the right side of the screen are SBIR only. There's a significant difference in the amount of funding available with the agencies that have both SBIR and STTR programs. Program structure is structured in 3 phases. Phase 1 is really the startup phase, and the awards can be anywhere from $80,000 over $400K, and the project execution period can be 5 to 13 months for a phase 1 project. Most of the clients that Innovation Partnership assists are first-time applicants seeking a phase 1 submission. Hopefully, if we're successful in helping that phase 1 applicant, they come back to us for a phase 2. Phase 2 is where a majority of the real, push work gets done, moving towards commercialization. There's also a larger chunk of change available because the project execution period is for 24 months, which is 2 years or more, depending upon the agency you're submitting to. Phase 3 really is the commercialization phase, where you'd be either starting to push your innovation to market or whatever revenue model you have, licensing or whatever that may be, or you are contracting with an agency of the federal government like the DoD or Department of Transportation. So this is just a graphical representation of the different phases. And I'm going to move a little bit faster here, and you will receive all these slides. So you'll be able to look through them on your own. But I want, in the essence of time, and in case there are any questions, I just want to get through the slides so you have some idea what we do and how we may be of assistance or may be a resource to you moving forward as you're looking to commercialize any of your technologies. So the main differences between SBIR and STTR are that STTR has a mandatory collaboration between a nonprofit research institution with participation and execution of a percentage of the project work, and SBIR, you may, as the company and the applicant, partner with a research institution, but it's not mandatory. And this is just an example here of the different agencies and when they tend to release their opportunities for funding or solicitations or whatever we want to call them. But one of the big issues, of the 2 big issues that Innovation Partnership believes are very instrumental in having success with SBIR and STTR, are timing appropriately, having enough time, giving yourself enough runway to work on your proposal and submit it, and reading and following instructions. Those are the 2 big positives that you can do if you're interested in SBIR and STTR. So while I have 2 examples here of companies that Innovation Partnership has assisted over the years, and they are in the life sciences space, they are not they are more along the lines of data related services as opposed to instruments or diagnostics. So it's not as exciting as Erica's examples. I apologize for that. So Quantum Bio, and you can check out the information on their website. They are up in State College, and we assisted them very early on, over a decade ago, with some of their SBIR and STTRs, and they've been very successful. They're still an existing company doing what they do and doing it well. The next one is Atlas Bio. They also are a Penn State affiliated company, and they deal with functional genomic services as one of their many services that they deal with. And we recently assisted them with an STTR submission. So innovation partnership, what do we do and how do we do it? We're a consortium of economic development assistance providers in the ecosystem in Pennsylvania. So if you have a physical location outside of Pennsylvania, you'll have to look at the state that you're in order to look for assistance in that state, but we assist companies that are in Pennsylvania. So we have over 18 organizations with over 75 locations throughout the Commonwealth, not the innovation partnership. These are our partner collaborators. So innovation partnership is located physically in Harrisburg, PA, but we coordinate and integrate with all of our partner organizations throughout the Commonwealth. We provide free high-level pre-proposal SBIR technical reviews for clients before they submit their federal proposal, and we have some amount of grant funds that we can award to the clients we assist through our full process to work with nationally renowned SBIR, STTR grant writing professionals. These are our collaborative partners who have been with us and supported us since the beginning of the origination in 2002 of Innovation Partnership by the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development. Erica and her group have been supportive partners, as well as PennTap have been integral to moving Innovation Partnership to where it is today. So we can assist with federal registrations, topic matching, timing, and proposal development through our instruments that we have developed for both phase 1 and phase 2 proposal writing assistance. We help with preparation and communicating with topic authors, program managers, or TPOCs to gain their feedback prior to preparing the proposal, which is an essential step towards developing a winning and competitive submission. We have our one-page company snapshot and our annotated NSF project pitch. And we've been doing this for a really long time, so we can ask the important questions up front and make sure that your time is useful and purposeful. These are our funding opportunities that we have. Micro voucher, micro grant, our phase 1 funding options with Innovation Partnership Assistance. And then our federal marketing assistance, or FMA, has a different template that we assist with, and that award can be up to $8,000. If you go to our website on our landing page currently, you will see our statistics, and we currently have around a 28%. It's probably around 23%. We've seen a slowdown and confusion with the federal SBIR and STTR programs on behalf of clients, given the onset of this year in the current administration. This is what our landing page looks like. I give you this as a visual because there are at least 3 other SBIR, STTR assistance programs in other states called Innovation Partnership. This is where you will find open solicitations and the timing for those. We have federal funding resources and links on our webpage, and here's our contact information. You can reach out to either myself or Lindsay, who is a new addition to the Innovation Partnership as she started with us in May. And I can say she's a more than welcome addition. So feel free to reach out with any questions that you have. We're both also on LinkedIn, and we have an Innovation Partnership LinkedIn page if you're interested. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you. Thank you, Kelly. That was awesome. That was a lot of information. And I think if there was one thing that you all that are still on this webinar could take away from this presentation is there's so many different opportunities to engage with Penn State and to find funding available to support research collaborations. And one more that I just wanted to close with is a program that we're, as PennTap, very involved with. In matching industries who want to sponsor a fellow or a graduate or undergraduate student fellow at Pennsylvania universities. Here at Penn State, we help match those interests, and this fellowship is funded at $70,000, up to $70,000, and so it's opening very soon. And if you have any interest in manufacturing biodevices, or just undertaking research related to advancing manufacturing, please reach out to me, and we could get you started on this. Two other very quick announcements. Materials Day, the Materials Research Center, Materials Research Institute, sorry, at Penn State, which is a big partner with both of these research centers that we highlighted today, is having basically their annual event. It's October 28th. So if you have any interest in participating in that, I could send more information. The registrations are open. There's also another event, Monday, October 6th, is the Institute for Computational and Data Sciences. Those of you that might have more interest in data science or analytics, there's an opportunity to learn more about engagement opportunities with this event as well. And so with that, I will close and just see here if we have any. We have one, let's see. One question I will, oh, actually, there's just in the chat, it said, Erica, somebody's going to be sending you an email to follow up. And so for more information with your center. So I think with that, we will close, and I will just say thank you to all our speakers for taking time. Thank you to all our participants who took the time to attend this webinar today. If you have any questions, please reach out to either me or any of the speakers here today, and I look forward to perhaps seeing you on the next webinar. Thank you very much.